You don't procrastinate because you're lazy. Let me say that again. You are not lazy. Your brain thinks it's saving you. That's the truth nobody talks about. Every time you avoid a task, your brain files it as a win. It thinks it protected you from something dangerous. And the worst part? It gets better at this every single time. The harder you try to force yourself to start, the stronger your brain pushes back. That's not weakness. That's a loop. A very specific loop your brain learned to run automatically on anything that feels important. Think about the last time something important needed doing. A project, a difficult conversation, a goal you've been avoiding for weeks. You sat down to start. And suddenly your phone needed checking. The room needed organizing. You needed water. You needed to think about it a little more first. Sound familiar? Here's what's actually happening in that moment. Your brain is not being difficult. It's being exactly what it was built to be. A threat detector. The problem is, it cannot tell the difference between a predator charging at you and a blank document with your name on it. Both trigger the same response, and that response has one goal: get you away from the threat, fast. Here's the science. Deep inside your brain sits a small structure called the amygdala. Think of it as your brain's alarm system. Its entire job is to scan everything around you for danger. The second it detects a threat, it fires. For early humans, this was everything. You see a predator, the alarm fires, you run, you survive. That's the system doing exactly what it should. But here's the problem. Your amygdala cannot tell the difference between a physical threat and an emotional one. A work deadline. A project where failure is possible. A conversation you've been putting off. Your brain processes all of those the same way it processes physical danger. The alarm fires. Your body enters protection mode. And your brain immediately starts searching for an exit. This is where the loop begins. And this is what makes it so difficult to escape. The trigger is any task carrying real emotional weight. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not measuring up. The moment that feeling shows up, your amygdala flags the task as dangerous. Then your brain does something both incredibly clever and incredibly destructive. It offers you an escape route. Check your phone, open your email, reorganize something, anything that is not the thing. And the second you take that exit, the anxiety drops, immediately. That drop is real. Your brain registers genuine relief. And right there, it files this under success. Task felt threatening. I avoided it. I feel better. Avoidance equals safety. That is the pattern it saves. That is what it learns. But here's the brutal part. The relief does not last. The task is still sitting there. The deadline is now closer. The anxiety comes back stronger than before. So you avoid again. Relief hits again. Every single time this cycle runs, the loop becomes harder to break. Professor Fushia Sirawa has studied procrastination for over 20 years. Her research confirms this is not a time management problem. It is an emotional regulation problem. That difference matters more than anything else in this video, because it means every planner you've bought, every productivity app you've downloaded, every alarm you've set to force yourself to start, all of it missed the actual problem. You were trying to fix a brain response with a scheduling tool. That has never worked, and it never will until you address the emotion driving the avoidance. Here is how to picture exactly what's happening. Imagine a smoke detector in your kitchen. It is wired to respond to danger. One day you are just making toast. Normal toast. Nothing is burning, but the detector fires anyway. It cannot tell the difference between dangerous smoke and harmless steam, so it screams, and you, trying to make the alarm stop, open a window, fan the air. Do everything except finish the toast. The toast never gets made. The alarm stops, you feel relieved, but you're still hungry. And tomorrow, you need toast again. That detector is your amygdala. The toast is the task that matters. The alarm is anxiety. Every time you fan the air instead of finishing the toast, you teach that detector that toast is a threat worth avoiding. Now here is what is supposed to happen. Your brain has a second system called the prefrontal cortex. This is the rational planning part of your brain. Its job is to step in and override the alarm when the threat is not real. Under normal conditions, it tells the amygdala to stand down. It reminds you the deadline is real, the work matters, and avoiding it is making everything worse. But research shows that chronic procrastinators have weaker connectivity between these two systems. The amygdala is larger, more reactive. The prefrontal cortex loses the argument every time. This is why willpower fails. You are not failing because you lack discipline. You are failing because you are trying to override a survival response with pure mental force. That almost never works. And that failure is not a character flaw. It is biology. Here is something that makes this even worse. The loop fires hardest on the things you care about most. Not small, low-stakes tasks, the important ones. The ones with your name attached. The ones where failure feels personal. The higher the stakes feel, the louder the amygdala fires. That is why smart, capable, hardworking people freeze on their most meaningful projects. It is not incompetence. It is actually the opposite. They care so deeply that the brain treats the task as a direct threat to their identity. Fear of failure becomes fear of judgment. Fear of judgment becomes fear of being exposed as not enough. The amygdala registers all of that as danger. And the loop starts again. Faster, harder, with more force than before. Every time you give in to the loop, you are not just avoiding one task. You are training your brain. You are teaching it that avoidance is the right response to discomfort. And the brain learns fast. Neuroscientists describe this process as reinforcement. The neural pathway for avoidance gets physically stronger with every repetition. Think of it like a path through tall grass. The first time you walk it, it takes effort. After 100 times, it is a clear trail. Your feet find it automatically. That is chronic procrastination. A well-worn path your brain now takes without checking with you first. The second discomfort shows up, you are already reaching for your phone before you have made any conscious decision at all. That is how automatic this becomes. So how do you break it? Not with harder self-discipline, not with stricter deadlines. You break it by targeting the actual problem, which is the emotional threat response itself. Step 1 is called a nervous system reset. Before you try to start anything important, take one slow belly breath. Not a chest breath, a belly breath. Your belly expands outward when you inhale. This is not a relaxation trick. This is a direct physiological signal to your nervous system. It activates your parasympathetic system, which is your brain's calm state. That calm state directly quiets the amygdala's alarm response. One breath before you open the document. One breath before the difficult conversation. One breath before you sit down to begin. That single action shifts the internal state your brain is operating from before the avoidance loop even has a chance to start. Step 2 is making the task smaller than the threat threshold. Your amygdala fires based on how large the threat appears. So shrink the task until it stops triggering the alarm. Do not tell yourself you are starting the whole project. Tell yourself you are writing one sentence. Do not tell yourself you are having a hard conversation. Tell yourself you are sending one message. The goal is to get started before the alarm fires. Psychologists call this the Zeigarnik effect. Once your brain registers a task as already begun, it shifts out of threat detection mode and into completion mode. Starting is the unlock. Not finishing perfectly, not doing it well. Just starting. The moment you are inside the task, the anxiety drops on its own. Not because you avoided it, because you are doing it. Step 3 is the one almost nobody takes seriously. Stop judging yourself every time the loop happens. This is not soft advice, this is neuroscience. Self-criticism after procrastination raises cortisol, which is your primary stress hormone. Elevated cortisol makes your amygdala more reactive, more sensitive, more likely to fire on the next task you face. So every time you call yourself lazy, every time you decide you have no willpower, you are literally making the next avoidance episode more likely. Research shows that self-compassion after procrastination, meaning acknowledging what happened without attacking yourself for it, actually reduces the behavior over time. You are not broken. Your brain learned a pattern that felt like safety. The loop was never the enemy. It was just your brain doing the only thing it knew how to do to protect you.